So hi ESA, I'm Mohawk and this is VVVVVV. So I'm submitting this as a glitchless race between me and tzann. And I'm gonna show you what the glitchless category looks like. So let's go. So basically this game is a well-known 2D platformer where instead of jumping you invert gravity, yeah. But that's not all. It's a pretty hardcore platformer, and what I propose with this submission is a really top tier race. Because I'm currently world record with 1458, and tzann is second with 1502. So I really believe that this could make for a pretty close race. And from my experience, I think that the game is best enjoyed with a two-way race. Like last year we tried a three-way race and it's a bit difficult to follow who is ahead. While when you have two players that are pretty close, then even if you haven't played the game before, you can really tell rapidly who is ahead if players are only a few seconds apart. So basically, in the glitchless category, we're doing all levels, especially Space Station 1 that I've just finished, which is a kind of tutorial level where we are introduced to the story. Basically, we are lost in an unknown dimension. There were some dimensional interferences, and our crew is lost in this dimension, and we have to find and rescue all the crew members. So this is the overworld. It's pretty open, and basically there's no restriction on the order of the levels. You could do them in any order, but to ensure legibility, we're gonna do the same route, which begins with Space Station 2. So each level has its own gimmick, and as you can see, in this one you have conveyor belts, which makes you faster or slower depending on the way. Space Station 2 is also arguably one of the most difficult stages, for good reason. So what I've just did is called the corner notch edge flip, and it's frame perfect. Keep in mind though that this game is running at 30 FPS, so when I say frame perfect, it's not as, well, impressive that it might be, but it's still pretty neat to show this stuff. And it's actually relevant to race setting, because this stupid trick that is frame perfect saves like 3 seconds over the normal strat. So that could be interesting whether we're gonna go for it or not. So in the glitchless category, you just go through the levels as intended, and you don't collect everything. You don't have to complete the game. And basically you complete the game in about 16 minutes. Alright, we just saved the first crew member, Vitellary. And now we're going to the next level, which is gonna be Tower. So, a bit of history maybe about the glitchless category. It wasn't a very popular category for years, was kind of a meme for a while, but then when people got interested in like from like 2017, then the popularity of this category really blew up, and we're now with more than 90 people, I believe. 90 runners of the glitchless category, which makes it the second most popular category behind no telejumping that we have done last year. There isn't much difference. There isn't much difference between both glitchless 100% and no telejumping categories, except for Gravitron. That's the main point. You see, the glitchless category is basically the only marathon-friendly category where we could do glitchless in runs, because the other one is no death mode, and we're definitely not going to do that in marathons. So the event I'm in right now is just an auto-scroller, you know, there's nothing happening much, but this could be a good time for announcements of any kind, donations, sponsorship. There aren't a lot of downtimes with this game, but at least this is one of them, like Tower. Because right now, this is gonna be pretty crazy. Like there's a lot of rooms with fast routes and all. Like right here, you can make the first cycle, but you have to be careful. Like this is an intermission one is the kind of flow that is really where you struggle the most. Like when you really begin to struggle in a casual setting. This room is especially pretty interesting to show off because it's clearly not the intended way. It's like 6 seconds faster. Not As I Do is a pretty infamous room. So as you can see in this level, I have to save not only me but also the other crew member that is following me. Makes it pretty crazy, pretty difficult. But yeah, there's no problem with enough practice. So now we're heading to Warp Zone, and it takes a while. Again, that could be a good time for our announcements. So the main gaming of Warp Zone is all these warp tokens. It's really disturbing at first because you don't know where you're gonna spawn. So you have to remember everything. This game as a whole is pretty much remember what's gonna be next. Because you know the rooms are appearing directly to you, so makes it really difficult to be prepared. Like in some roads, you really need to react fast, otherwise you're not gonna make the first cycle. This is especially true for the end of Warp Zone, and we're gonna be there in a minute. Yeah, this is one of the rooms I was talking about. So lots of moving elements, but all the cycles are local. So when you enter a room, it's gonna always be the same. So that's good. You can really have a setup. Okay, so yeah, the end of Warp Zone is really crazy to watch. It goes super fast. Okay, so now we're done with Warp Zone. Now, as I said, we're not skipping any level. So normally we will be skip the Gravitron in no telejumping, but in Glitchless we have no choice, but have to go for Gravitron. So, unlike most people would believe, it's not actually that difficult to get consistent at the Gravitron, but it sure requires a lot of practice. You see, Gravitron has a lot of patterns, like a lot of identifiable patterns. Every 5 or 10 seconds, you're always gonna have the same patterns. Like right here, they're coming from the right, then it's gonna go faster, and then I'm gonna have squares that are appear from both sides of the screen in a symmetric way. This is definitely the hardest part because it's the part with the most RNG. But yeah, it's still possible to get consistent at it. Here they're coming from the right, then from the left. Always coming from the left. And then slight optimization. Hey, you can skip a cycle if you go to the left at the end. This is actually a pretty recent discovery. It's not in the current world record, and it could save a second. But you can only do it if you are deathless, of course. But this is pretty neat to me, that we're still finding strats in Glitchless today. Okay, so last but not least, the laboratory with these gravity lines. So when you hit them, you automatically flip. And strangely enough, this is, I think, one of the easiest stages. Because most of the time you only have to hold the direction, and that's all. Like really, the gravity lines don't make this level much harder. See, I just have to go left, nothing else. Okay, so here, there's some fast strats that are quite hard to get. Like here you can skip a cycle, and it saves like half a second, but if you want to go for it, it's frame perfect again. Overall, you have, as I just mentioned, some tiny time saves here and there in the run, but you have checkpoints everywhere, so even if you miss stuff, you're only gonna lose like 3 or 4 seconds. So it's really interesting about like decision making. If one of both runners feels like they're behind, then they're gonna try to get the tiny time save, you know. I think this could be interesting. So now we're in the final, you know. I haven't talked much about the story, but there's a good reason why we are there, why we are here. So we saved everyone, but again, there was a dimensional interference, and we're stuck in this weird dimension. We find the cause of this dimension. There was a dimension stabilizer. We deactivate it, which makes the dimension unstable, of course. and we're running for our life right now. So a lot can happen in final. There's a lot of difficult rooms like this one. So even if one of the two players seem to be ahead, the rest is really not settled until the very end. See, I just died twice, so it could make the race even closer at the end. But again, there are checkpoints everywhere, so we're gonna finish the run in time for sure. Okay. Find a room and we're good. So usually time is at the game complete, like it will be right now in a RTA setting. In speedrun.com we are using in-game time, so like this would be a 15:14 on speedrun.com. But about if you are counting RTA, this would be about 30 seconds slower, so like a 15:44 or something like that, which is still like 1 minute and 15 seconds off the estimate. Like I think about 17 minutes. So yeah, we're pretty guaranteed to meet the estimate this time. So everyone is safe, blah blah blah. But we're not done, cause we have put an incentive, remember? So for this, I'm gonna update my live split. Give me a second. Yep. So the incentive that we were proposing is a Super Gravitron showcase. So Super Gravitron is an extra thing that you can unlock in the secret lab. And it's like Gravitron, but like 3 times harder, like more RNG, harder patterns. And the thing is, like, we will be doing Super Gravitron for 5 minutes, and the winner would be the player with the best time done in these 5 minutes. So it will look like this, like 3, 2, 1, go. So 5 minutes to convince people that we're not too bad at Super Gravitron. Yeah. That's gonna be hard to talk at the same time, but I'll try. So as I said, Super Gravitron is way harder than Gravitron because the patterns are, well, way less predetermined. And the way I see it, like if we do this with 2 players, then that's gonna be hype, because you know, one player is gonna have set a best time, then the other one is gonna have another best time, and people are gonna see the both best time going up. Like you could really feel the competition between both players. It's really uncertain because you could get a bad pattern pretty fast, like this. Oh my god. There could be a lot of clutch moments. And I'm pretty sure that people will be willing to donate to see this. I'm confident that times above 1 minute are likely to be achieved. Like, I was really close to a minute right now. And I think that both I and tzann are able to go above 1 minute. Like, my Super Gravitron PB is 7 minutes and 19 seconds. Obviously it's the best time, so it doesn't really tell you about my consistency, but that's why I'm doing this, by the way, just to give the example. Yeah, see how the RNG can just screw you if the game is mean? Yeah, that's why I think 5 minutes is the best compromise for showcasing Super Gravitron. It's not a lot of time, like it's reasonable to have an estimate that is 5 minutes long, but it's just enough time to give us a chance to get a good a good run. Like, you can't expect us to get a good Super Gravitron attempt on our first attempt. I'm not sure that you would find a lot of people willing to showcase Gravitron in the future. Come on, the minute. Hey, we did it! But let's go for more, right? Still going. Oh, okay. That's still a nice time. I'm glad I got the minute. So I'm not sure what we should do at the 5 minutes. Like, if we should stop, or if we should like let the players finish their current attempt. I would be for the latter option, but that could be changed. Okay, so 10 seconds left. Okay, so this could be the end, or just let the players finish their current attempt. So I'm gonna finish this. Normally it shouldn't last more than 2 minutes. Like, it shouldn't add 2 more minutes. More than 2 more minutes, anyway. Like the Super Gravitron YouTube record, like with video, is like 7 minutes and 39 seconds or something like that. So there's no way we're gonna stay here for hours. Hey, I beat my time, cool. Let's get the 2 minutes. Nice! Oh my god. Nice. Okay, fine. So yeah, that was an example. So if we were to stop at the 5 minutes mark, then it would have been a 139, if I remember correctly. And if we were to complete the current attempt, would have been a 220. But anyways, you got the idea. So yeah, that's basically my ideas for this VVVVV submission. I hope you enjoyed it.